Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
Listen to that volume control that you got, man. This is unbelievable.
I believe I was recently promoted to producer slash media manager. What's my title?
Well, the reality is I was demoted. I demoted myself because here's the reality. I was going nuts on the media board, hitting the applause, wasn't mixing the sound. Here's the reality. I may have cost us some viewers on YouTube. So you got promoted, my friend, and you've been managing it perfectly.
You know, I appreciate the promotion. I'm very excited to be here, and we're going to rock and roll. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, dude, you ready? Well, listen, we should probably say we had a conversation off the books today, and usually we alternate back and forth with the stories, right? You do a story, I do a story, you do a story, I do a story, and then the audience is left to figure out if it's fact or fiction at the end. You're going to go over the rules and all that kind of stuff. But I have had a story, can't tell you if it's fact, can't tell you if it's fiction, that has been burning in my mind for a week that I gotta tell you, and you were gracious enough to say, Aaron, you tell the story tonight. So thank you for that. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I was happy to defer to you. When something's burning, I can tell.
Woo!
And sometimes you can't hold it. You just have to be ready to go in the moment. That's right. And that's what we do. We pivot, we make adjustments, and we're ready to operate in that space at any time.
In this space. That's right.
Hey, real quick, are we showing on level playing field equal windows, or am I showing small?
I think you're good. No, okay. You're good. You're in the grid.
There I am. Okay. I was showing in this little mini box.
When I said you were promoted, I actually demoted you. I put you into the corner.
So maybe I was demoted.
No,
this is a lot better. Now I could see our screen a little bit better.
Let me walk you through a couple of things. By the way, as we're going, once we get a producer on this thing, it's going to be wild. So you got this option. I'm a little bit smaller now. See how I'm smaller? I've been demoted. Now,
wow.
Now I'm doing it. Here we go. Here's another one.
Look at us.
Now we're going full screen. So this is going to show you, and then we're going back to grid.
We're back in grid. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in grid.
Welcome to BID.
Okay. Welcome to BID. So we're very excited to be here. We were off last week. Hopefully you missed us. Maybe you lost some sleep. It's possible, but we're back. We're back in action. So we have our team in studio tonight in Riverside. So we have our fans that have been with us for a long time. So thank you,
Since about a
Riverside.
year since we've been doing this. They've been great.
It's been about a year. I think, how many are in studio tonight? I don't have
11.
that count.
We had 9. It's 11. So we got 11 in
it's 11 in
FM. I know we're spraying to a couple different places, one on YouTube and at breaking it down.live as well. So a few places.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as we're building on YouTube, we are so thankful for the following that we have on Riverside and YouTube. So thank you everybody that has joined us tonight. Yes, Let's give you a rundown of what to expect. So for those of you that are new to breaking it down, we are going to tell a story. And who is on deck tonight? It is Aaron. As we mentioned at the beginning, he's going to tell us a story. Thing is, we don't know if it's fact or fiction until the end. So watch along, look for mannerisms, look for cues, look for stuttering in the voice, beads of sweat on the forehead. Heck, even watch me at times because you might see me look suspicious. And I've known Aaron my entire life. Since preschool, we were kicking brick buildings down.
Yep.
Toy brick. Let's preface
the blocks. No, but they were the cardboard. Like they looked like bricks. They were cardboard. No names, please.
No names.
Certain individual though, we had to take him out.
Yeah, Aaron, we've said this on the record a couple times. We actually might be the original Peaky Blinders. So
that's right. Oh,
Tommy Shelby. Shout out to my wife Vanessa for the Peaky Blinders. I don't know, what are these things called? They're
Funko Pops.
Funko Pop. Yeah, Tommy Shelby. Yeah, this was in my Easter basket this year. So
that's
shout
amazing. A lot of people collect those. I have a lot of buddies that collect those. That's awesome, man.
We're rock and roll. We're gonna have a good time. So yeah, watch for my mannerisms, mainly Aaron's, but there's a lot of clues that could be given along the way. And what's going to end up happening is after Aaron's done telling the story, we're going to have an opportunity to ask some questions. I am, and maybe I will ask you all to help me. I don't know. We're going to see where things go. We're going to have a surprise twist potentially in the middle of the show. We don't know. Is there a lifeline? Will there be? I don't know. We're making things up as we go. Sometimes on this show. That's what we do. And you are all going to have an opportunity to guess as well if you think this is fact or fiction. Okay. So there's going to be a cue from me where I am going to ask you all to jump into the chat and make a guess at some point, whether you think this is fact or fiction. Okay. And you're going to make your guess. We're going to moderate that from Riverside and YouTube. We're going to see who wins, who guesses first, who gets it right. There might be a gift card. There might not be.
Who jumps
Again,
the gun?
lots
We've
of
had a couple
surprises.
people the last few weeks, they jumped the gun. You can't make your guess during the story. Make the guess in your head. Make some comments. Talk me through stuff. Tell me. But if you make the guess doesn't count until the end. And
it's going to be, there's going to be timestamps. We're going to be looking for that. We have some assistance here tonight. From, I believe Corey. Is Corey going to be helping us?
I believe so. Who knows?
Tonight, it seems like
we might have
a lot
to
of surprises
multitask
tonight.
We might have to multitask. We might have to do it ourselves.
We'll see what happens.
Are you ready to multitask? All right, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to multitask. Right. Let's have some fun. Aaron.
Yeah.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Califato.
Thank you very much. I'd like to say first, right off the bat, I've been burning to tell this story to you for forever. And it feels that way. It's actually only been about a week. But what I don't know and what you don't know is this story fact or fiction? Is it a little bit of fact and mostly fiction? Or is it all fiction with just a little bit of facts thrown in there, ultimately making it not a real story? But let's just start here. You can't write this.
Okay.
What happened to me?
Seems to be a common theme with us these days.
Dude, you couldn't write this if you tried. Let me go back. A couple weeks ago. And as you know, man, I've been kind of doing my thing with the storytelling thing. I have, an audience for 7-minute stories, the audio audience that's grown in the last 5 years. Just really loyal groups of people, and it's reached a lot of folks, but there's, I'm constantly sort of amazed where when I started telling these stories and kind of how it's grown in the same way that we're starting right here, right? You start and you're like, okay, cool. Like you get a group of people. We have some folks at Riverside. Next thing you know, 12 to 24, you start multiplying when you have something that works. So that's been working. But as you know, I've been working and doing some work with a lot of different clients in the podcasting space. I've been teaching. I've been doing Zoom calls. I've been doing co-producing and co-hosting Glassdoor's flagship podcast. So all of this stuff is great to the point where I've actually built up a small team of freelancers around me to start working on, getting, dealing with inbounds, doing outreach, earned media, all this stuff. It's really been great.
Oh, boy.
About a couple weeks ago, I get an email from someone who I don't know. This happens a lot. Who says, hey, I'm not going to say his name because he was well-meaning. He goes, hey, I'm a fan of your storytelling. I am currently trying to create a Wikipedia page for you. I was like, this is wild. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? And he goes, I just wanted to let you know and just make sure that it's okay. So I was like, yeah. So, cause I don't know how that works. I'm assuming from we'll get into this in a second. After that interaction, I've had a lot of interactions. As you know, Anthony, we've been at coffee shops locally. People come up to me. Hey, I know your voice just from the storytelling, just 7-minute stories. Right?
It's true.
You've
I've
seen
been there.
So I get emails like this all the time, and it's always welcome. And so that I felt was like, oh, that's cool, man. Maybe he's a fan of the show or they whatever. And I said, go ahead. And he goes, what kind of photos can I use? No names, please. I said, okay, well, you could just Google anything, and there's approved photos that are on Google. Cool. And I will say this, Anthony, he's overseas. Now, at first, I'm like, and see, this is where I was like, am I getting
Radar's
scammed?
going off.
Yeah. Am I getting scammed? But then I thought to myself, like, what? There wasn't any other follow ups to it. Meaning, like, there at this point, all he said was just an FYI, I'm doing this. I have an editing, like, I edit several things on Wikipedia. I came across, I think you should be featured there. Now, of course, when he says this, I'm like, this is great. Right? Like having a Wikipedia page is great for SEO. It's just a nice thing to add to the resume.
Right.
Cool. So I said, go ahead. And then I was just ready just in case he wrote back and was like, hey, what's your credit card number? Right? Like,
Yeah.
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 I didn't give him anything. I just said, go ahead. Because my thinking is if he was going to do it, he'd do it anyways. But I think he was just doing it as here's an FYI. So
Right.
a week goes by, everything's good. I get another email from the guy. I cannot, you won't believe this. He goes,
I will believe it probably.
He says, he goes, hey, I made this page for you. It's live now, but it has to go through. I just wanted to let you know, you might find it cool. He sends me a link, no ask, no money, no credit cards. He sends me a link of a Wikipedia page. It's real. It's of me. And I was like, this is great. It has like, Aaron Califato grew up in Ohio. He's known for 7-Minute Stories and his work with Glass. Like these, it's a small one, right? But it has like these things. And it has all these like sources that he found, which are like articles that have been written. Cause I guess with that, you have to find sources that get connected. I guess there's certain things in Wikipedia where like certain sources have to be reputable sources. It can't be like your website. So like if you wanted to make and if you wanted to make a Wikipedia or for yourself, you couldn't really do it. Right. One, because it's a conflict of interest. And two, if you did, or if someone did, they would have to say like, oh, you were featured in the New York Times or Cleveland Magazine or whatever, I know those two aren't equivalent. I'm just trying to say whether it's local or national, People Magazine, something with journalistic integrity. Okay. I say all that to say, I get this link. I'm looking at. I'm like, this is a real page. And I got to be honest, I was fired up. I made it.
You've made it to Wikipedia.
I made it to Wikipedia. This is great. On the top of the page, though, it did say it was live. Like I could search it and I would find my name, my face. I'm like, I even told my wife, Courtney, like, this is wild. Like I got this page. It said it's currently under review and it takes a blah, blah, blah time to publish. Okay.
Which makes sense.
A couple days go by. I look at the page again. I'm going to be honest. I do it out of vanity.
I love it.
You know how you sometimes feel like when you reach the mountaintops of, you kind of just go, is that real? So I go in there. I was like, there it is. Except this time on the top of the Wikipedia page, it says something where, hey, there's some problems with these sources. I don't know. I didn't make the page. I don't know what that means, but now my wheels are spinning. Why? Now I'm all in because I'm thinking this page, I'm looking at the page. Now it says there's problem with the sources. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I let it go. A couple of days go by. I check the page again.
You can't stop.
I can't stop. It now says the article, and I'm paraphrasing here, is under like a debate consideration within the Wikipedia community. I go to the page, and when you click through it, even from a public IP address, you can see dialogue occurring from people who are editing it. And there was one that was like, "Hey, no, take this sentence away." So like you can't make, unless you have an account, you can't make any edits, but you can actually see, because it's like a
Mm-hmm.
publicly sourced thing, some of the edits. So it was like, see the conversation happening. I click it. It's like, hey, take this away, or this isn't valid, or take this, whatever. So I'm watching them basically edit me as a human being.
Yeah.
And if that's not hard enough to watch, because one guy was like, yeah, that line doesn't qualify, or like that source isn't good enough. And by the way, I recognize, no names, please. I'm looking at the name of the person who originally emailed me, who said they're a fan and they wanted to do the thing. And I said, go ahead. And I said, sure, use whatever photos you want. And I see him responding to the criticism of his article, not me as a person, of his article.
Okay.
Something's wrong. But I'm watching an editing process. I figured, you know what? This is what it is. This is a good thing. Couple days pass. I check the chat again. I can't stop. I'm in a spiral I can't get out of. Now it says the page is under consideration for deletion. I'm cooked. I'm done. I I'm done. I'm cooked.
You're done.
It's over. So now I'm like, okay, why is it under? Now I'm getting personally offended because I can't. One, I can't do anything. Two, I see people in the comments on Wikipedia saying things like, "Oh, this something about this source, whatever." So it's about the article, then it begins to become personal. Now I'm looking and I see there's one person that comes in and goes, "Hey, this person has notability," and he means me, meaning like he's been in this, and this. The notability factor is fine. The page should be good. Leave it as that. I was like, okay, cool. I'm on a roller coaster ride now. So I'm thinking, here we go. I'm back on.
Yeah.
Couple days pass. I'm clicking again. I'm addicted.
This is unbelievable.
You can't. It's unbelievable. I go and look and see at the Wikipedia. I'm still there. It's live. I showed Corey. I said, look, I have a page. This is wild. But I said, there's this weird thing happening. She looks at it. She goes, I'm kind of offended, actually, because what we begin to see transpire is now it's a conspiracy. After that person says, oh, this is good, now someone says, who created this page? What's going on here? And then they screenshotted what looks to be the original person, no names please, who started the page. And apparently there is a form that says, like, when you're creating this, you're doing this. And then in the form box, I don't know if it's because he's from another country, he speaks English. It says, I didn't write it. He wrote it. He goes, I'm writing this on behalf of Aaron Califato. I'm done. Dude, you have no idea the feeling of powerlessness. I said, and I'm going like, and now I actually wrote to him. Now I haven't talked to this person since he goes, hey, I'm just making this pay for you. I said, bro, I don't know if there's a translation issue with like the English, but I think when you said on behalf, it sounds like I'm forcing you to do this, or that I'm asking you to do this for me.
They think that you got the guy chained in the basement and you're making him set up a Wikipedia page. If you want your freedom, set this page up for me.
I said, dude, just like delete the page. Like, this is weird because like at first this was just, hey, I'm doing. So now he's going back into the comments saying, oh, no, that's not what I really meant. Now the other people are coming in saying, they're piling in. They're going, oh, he's making this up. Like he's only had 43 edits or something like that. So now they're assassinating his character.
Collusion.
This is now I'm closing. Here we go.
I can't.
I can't say anything because first of all, technically I could create a Wikipedia account, but how bad does that look? If I go in now at this point, if I'm in there going, no, this isn't true, it only, I can't, I am stuck in a situation I can't get out of. Can you imagine this? You work your whole life. Your character's under assassination. The guy's fighting back and forth. There's a few people that pop in and say, oh, no, it's not. But overwhelmingly, there's 2 or 3 users that I noticed that came in here. And then this is when it took it too far.
It's not.
Someone goes, I'm wondering if who I'm talking to right now in this comment is Aaron himself. Ah!
Oh no.
And when I saw that, I was livid. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me.
Oh.
Now, not only is the page looking suspicious, I have a person who doesn't speak native English portraying it as if I have him hostage in the house, forcing him, you better make a page. I'm beating him up. I give it up at this point because I'm not going to chime in. I'm not going to say anything. I said, I'm going to let nature take its course. 4 days later, the page was deleted. Anthony, I had a 4-day period where I made it. Out of the goodness of an international listener's heart, they reach out and they say, hey, I think your storytelling and how many people you reach, whatever, 30 million people in the last couple of years, I think that's worthy of a Wikipedia page. Can I go ahead and do it? Sure, go ahead. Yeah, goodbye me. What picture should I use? Whatever's on Google. I go from that to then being accused by the Wikipedia community that it's me holding this guy in the basement, making him do a page. And then worse off, they think I'm the guy.
This is almost too much.
The page gets deleted. And to be honest with you, when I saw that, it was a little bit of a relief because if it ever happens again, if someone ever creates one, hopefully there's someone who has a little bit more, like a better grasp of the English language. Again, God bless this guy. He was just trying, I'm assuming, one, he wasn't hustling anybody. He's not a person trying to frame me or make me look bad. He literally was. And I know this because, you know, I'm going to keep his privacy. I did email afterwards and say like, hey, just so you know, like probably don't try that again. Just because like, unless you know, because like it makes it look bad. It makes me look bad. I know you're trying. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's okay. So this wasn't a scam.
Yeah.
There's a well-meaning person who didn't know how to use Wikipedia, who wanted to, and here's the thing: for 4 days, bro, I made it. Until I came under the scrutiny, and essentially I was framed. And I made it on Wikipedia for 4 days. The page is now deleted. If you type in Aaron Califato on Wikipedia, you will not find anything. I'm going to end there. But that is the end of the story. That is the 4 days I made it to Wikipedia. And today, May 21st, 2025, I am no longer there. And one day I'll get there again. But I couldn't wait to tell you this because you can't write this. The question is this all a storytelling ruse? Is my work as a storyteller, has it gotten so crazy that I'm spinning webs like this just to share on this show, breaking it down to throw you off and the audience off and ask them, and I ask you now, and we'll give you the opportunity to ask me a question, maybe 2, maybe we'll ask the audience, maybe we'll ask Riverside, wherever we're at. Is the story you just heard fact or fiction?
Oh man, this is tough. I'm I'm struggling with this one. Um, I think I know my answer, but I do want to ask maybe one, maybe two follow-ups. So this fan of yours,
Yeah.
do is is this a longtime listener, like somebody that you know or you've ever communicated with prior to? That's my first question.
First time they indicated they have been listening, but they didn't say how long. They just said they know, and they cited certain stories that you would have to be listening to for a long time. Like these
Okay.
were like right now we're ending season 5 of 7 Minute Stories. We're going into season 6. This is over 300 stories. So I think they referenced one that was like a couple seasons back. So I assume it's been a while, but this is the first time this person contacted me.
Okay. I would like to take an opportunity now. We're going to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I would like to ask everybody in both studios, Riverside and YouTube,
Yep.
to quickly in the next 30 to 60 seconds put a question into the chat that you would like me to ask Aaron. Maybe one that I'm not thinking of currently because I'm drawing a blank. I do think I know my answer, but you might be able to help me narrow that down to my final answer. So I'm going to take a look between the Riverside chat and the YouTube chat for which question I think is going to be best suited to help me out here. So please go ahead and start that now. Take the next 30 to 60 seconds and drop a question in that you would like me to ask Aaron. We're going to do something a little bit different tonight. Have some
Now,
fun.
while we're giving him 30 seconds here, and I appreciate if you don't mind, I have a hard time multitasking. I'll have you, if you can check the chat in both YouTube and Riverside.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
But while they're doing that, were you surprised by this story?
I have a lot of thoughts, and we are going to break it down.
Okay, so you're gonna
I have
drop off.
I was surprised. I will say that for sure. I did not see this coming, 100%. But now that
Neither
you've
did
told
I.
the story, not surprised. If that makes sense. I have some serious thoughts on this, but the determination whether this is fact or fiction is going to determine how I navigate how we break this down. But I have some serious thoughts. So I am seeing some questions come in through Riverside. I am not seeing anything on YouTube yet, so we're going to give it another maybe 10 seconds or so,
Sure.
and then we'll. Corey says, "I know the answer, so I can't ask a question." I appreciate
Oh, hey, Corey's there. Awesome.
the respect. Appreciate the respect there.
See, she'll always stand true. She knows. Question
Okay,
is,
so
have I been planning it with her this whole time?
I do. Okay, so I see a question. There's a couple questions in Riverside that are really good, but there is one here specifically that does stand out to me, and it looks like it's from I can't see the name. It looks like Jan, maybe
At
Jan in
Jan?
Riverside.
At
Yeah,
Jan? Okay.
at Jan. Yeah,
Jan, you don't have to
she's.
put your Jan. You don't. I love no knock. You don't have to put the at symbol, which I love.
I
Everyone's
think
got
it
a
threw me
handle
off.
now.
It threw me
What does
off.
she say though?
Okay, she wanted to know if
Or is
at
it a
any
he? We don't
point
know.
we
Jan.
yeah he or
I know.
she,
We know a
Jan.
Jan.
Maybe that's is it Jan? Is it our old producer?
I,
That's why I'm registering it. He or she. Yeah. Okay. So Jan's question is: Did this person
Mhm.
overseas? Did
Yep.
they ever at any point in time ask for anything in return for doing this for you?
Good question, Jan. Actually, I'm a little nervous that it was you the whole time. To be honest, we're gonna have to break. We're gonna. Was this Jan? Was this Jan all along?
That's a whole side story.
No, I know it's not. Okay, so we don't. Okay, that's the great point, and I tried to articulate it. If I didn't earlier in the story enough, I will double down. There was no thing, no payment, no expectation in return ever asked. The only thing he asked, no names please, was just one, it was an FYI. Like, hey, FYI, I think I'm going to
FYI.
make this page. loved X and Y story, been listening to you. Is that cool? And I'm like, okay. And I was looking for that, Jan. I was looking for like, hey, do me a favor, click this portal and drop your credit card number. Because, you know, we are so attuned to scams now. We're walking around every day living in a
Yep.
scam. Like, we're walking around in the matrix all day. I don't even know sometimes if the people I see in line are real. Is the cashier, we've talked about this.
We don't know.
Is it AI? Is it a clone? You don't know anymore. So I think it's a great question. And I had my ears were perked. The alert system was ready. And as soon as I saw the couple of follow-ups, nothing was asked. The only thing they said was, what photos should I use?
Yeah. Okay.
And then I didn't give them anything. I didn't say, use this photo. They were like, what's your credit? Or like nothing, no passwords, no money, nothing. It was just what photo. And then I sent them to Google, just say, hey, go. I even send them an attachment. That's the point. Because I was still a little suspicious, and I don't know why.
Right.
I was, you know how we are. I got a little phobic. I was like, what if I send him this and then he photoshops it and turns me in? You know, like, so I just said, listen, go ahead to Google. I didn't say no, like, but I said, go ahead to Google. Whatever's on Google is approved, because, you know, it's what it is. It's from my website, it's whatever. That's the only thing, Jen. That's it.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Before I give my final answer, we're now going to give you all an opportunity to guess whether you believe this episode is fact or fiction. So now is the cue. Take the next 30 to 60 seconds.
That's right.
Give your answer. Fact or fiction. First one to guess correct will be the winner. Go. We are going to hang out, and while you're doing that and while we're monitoring, I believe I do have my final answer. I am not looking at the chat. I am going to withdraw from doing that. I don't want any inspiration. I don't want anything coming through. I know my final answer. I think I feel pretty confident in this as well. So we will monitor the chat afterwards. I'm very excited to see some of the responses that are going to be coming through. Now, Aaron, you are more than welcome to monitor, to take a look into our chats and kind of see what's coming through.
I know. I'm like, hey, can you multitask while you're hosting and walking us through? And I just sit back and smile. Let me look and see. What do we got?
You don't have to share anything, obviously, out loud, but, you know.
Oh, I see some names. That's what I'm talking about. I see some names. Okay. I won't say anything out loud, but there's some in Riverside. We added a couple more people. So we got 14 people in Riverside, and there's a few people on YouTube as well who've added their answers.
Okay.
Believe it or not, here's what I will say. I'm going to give a shout out to one person I see, and I think it's YouTube in particular. I got to be honest with you. The answers here, and I won't say what it is, Anthony, are overwhelmingly one-sided. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
they're overwhelmingly one-sided.
Okay.
I think everyone here, we got them in. I think we're good. What's your answer?
Let's get ready to rock.
Important thing. What's your answer?
Yeah. So my final answer is, this is a true story. This is fact. Final answer.
Final answer, huh?
Yes.
Don't kill me for this, okay? I'm going rogue. Folks, it is a true story. You got it. You got it.
I got it. The series is tied up.
True. Yes. 7-7, or what is it? 4-4, wherever we're at scoring. 4-4.
4-4
score, because
it's 4-4.
It's 4-4. Tie score. 4 wins for you, 4 wins for me. This makes us even. We're back to 0. A factual. This is 100% fact, and I will wait to see if. Well, here's what's funny. By the way, shout out to a dear friend of mine, college roommate. He's been checking out all my different shows, by the way. Dan Bilick, who you might know, Anthony.
I do know Dan. I remember Dan.
In this chat, Dan said, fiction easy. In fact, Dan's guess, he went on to say, I've never been more confident about anything in my life. I love that. Veronica comes in and says fiction. We have Terry in Riverside, fiction. Monica said fiction. Everyone said fiction. The only person that said fact. Dan says my life is a bed of lies. But
Ladies and gentlemen,
listen, I can understand why you would think this would be fiction. This is my life. Let's break this down really quick.
Let's break it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Breaking It Down.
Welcome to Breaking It Down. We're going to try to get you out of here at 9 p.m. Eastern, which we've been really good at time. In fact, if you go to our YouTube page, wherever you're at, make sure you like it and all that stuff, because even though we have a small crowd that we've been growing over these last few weeks, every time you like it, it tells the YouTube algorithmic gods to send it out to more people. So that helps. The folks in Riverside, thank you for being here. I know you guys have been here, helping shape the show for a while. But for those outside folks who are joining us on YouTube, thank you for liking and all the stuff and participation. Thank you for the answers as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's break this down, and I'm going to give you the floor. What made you think that this was a true story when the consensus, with the listeners we have tonight, are saying it's fiction? I can understand why they would say it's fiction. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Look, and here's the problem that we run into as the storytellers of the show and the hosts is the more I share in these moments, the more leverage you potentially could have in preparing for your future stories.
I love the competitive nature.
I have to walk a line. However, in the nature of wanting to provide entertainment to the viewers, I'm willing to divulge why I came to this conclusion. So there's a couple reasons. One, Aaron, this is definitely a classic only could happen to Aaron situation. So there's very few of us that, like, only Aaron Califato would have some random person overseas want to make a Wikipedia page for him. So, like, the story is so far out there that I'm like, this probably is true. However, there were elements that, man, I'm like, the commentary and stuff like that, where they were like discussing your page, was throwing me off a little bit.
100% true, by the way. What a
well, I know. 100. Yeah, we have an honor system. Like, all of our stories, like, there can't, like, 100% we have to stick to fact or fiction, and there can't be anything outside of the lines. But this definitely is a classic Aaron story. You had so much detail in a lot of the sections, right? Like, and so much passion. And again, this is where it's tough, because even in a fiction story, that can also be true.
Right.
Right.
We've done it. We've tricked each other. It's 4-4 for a reason.
It's 4-4 for a reason. So yeah, I think that it's too funny of a story to not be true. And it is a classic Aaron story. So I felt pretty confident with it, but I wanted to make sure I didn't get too confident, because multiple times I come in too confident and then I end up losing. So yeah, we're tied up 4-4. And I will say this, and look, and I sincerely apologize for potentially inducing any further anxiety into you. And I'm doing this because I think, Corey, I apologize to you for potentially doing this. Is it, Aaron, this reminds me of the Blockbuster situation where you were flagged. Aaron, are you flagged now?
This is my fear.
I'm sorry to do this.
No, I know. No, but this is what I was thinking too. Like, can
this guy, I'm not saying, look, I don't want to induce fear or anxiety, but it's too fun. It's too funny to not bring to the table to the end of the story. Is it possible in a world where 5 years from now, 10, 15 years from now,
I can't.
You have an agent and a manager that's like, hey, who knows, maybe us. Hey guys, breaking it down. We don't know where this thing's going. We're going to get you guys a Wikipedia page. Mine gets approved. Yours gets denied.
He's cooked.
I can't.
So here's the thing, and you know how I always have nuggets at the end of this.
All in fun.
I know, but you know how I always have these little nuggets at the end, little things you didn't know. Well, here's a little inside track to the true story. Couldn't do too much of this as we were doing the game part of it, but now that the cat's out of the bag, now that our cards are out on the table, and I essentially got Wikipedia catfished. Here's the reality. My first thought and my first Google search was, if someone puts together a bad Wikipedia page for someone and it gets flagged and deleted, are you banned for life? And the reason why is because in the future, what if there's a red flag? You mentioned the Blockbuster story. In short, back in college, and Dan will know this, I applied at a Blockbuster back when Blockbuster was in business. Clearly, they had hiring me wasn't, or not hiring me wasn't the only bad decision that they made.
Correct.
But the point is, at the time, you go in and you do this little computer interview, and you know it's a personality assessment. And my thinking was, they're asking me trick questions. So they would say, like, I'll give you one specific. You know the story very well. It's like, have you ever stolen anything? Now, I overthought it because I'm an analytical guy. So I'm going, oh, you're expecting me to say, no, I haven't ever stolen anything. So I said, yes, I've stolen something. Dude, I'll never forget this. Not only was I red flagged at that store, 4 years, 4 years later, when I moved out east to New York, New Jersey area, and I was looking for a weekend job just to survive as a struggling actor, there was a local Blockbuster. 3 years later, love movies. I'm an actor. Love stories. Go to the storytelling place. I walk in, had the smell of Blockbuster, popcorn candy, that weird chemical that they use to clean the floors, the plastic. It was magic. I go in there. I do another online assessment, Anthony, in New Jersey, Eatontown, New Jersey, at the Blockbuster, probably not there anymore. Guy looks up from my application, goes, "You're red flagged. You can't work here."
You can't hide.
So I'm thinking the same thing. The question is, I'm going to check back with you. I'm going to report and tell the folks here. As years go on, if I don't have a Wikipedia page, you all know why. I've been framed. I've been framed. Unbelievable.
Do you know what I actually thought where this story was going? We can close here because we're getting past. I thought that this guy was going to create a page for you.
Yeah.
Was going to hold it hostage and make you pay for it, and potentially was going to make it look really bad and say, if you want me to take this down, you need to wire me money. That's where I thought you were going with the story.
Well, what's amazing is my thought about people, I'm thinking, there's no way. I never thought about that possibility. Here.
Well, now you are. Now you're, Aaron.
I'm going to be spinning for months. Here's the reality.
I'm trying to do this.
I'm going to be doing a lot of research tonight. I'm going to be honest. I might have to hire a lawyer.
Dan says that job application at Blockbuster was the beginning of the end to their existence.
That's right.
Bankruptcy filed 6 months later. Well said, Dan.
That's right.
Aaron, it was the worst thing they ever did was not hire you.
And Wikipedia, probably a good choice to not get this guy's page up, because listen, here's the one thing we'll say before we end here is, I have to say, as heartbreaking as this was, because, you know, you feel like, oh man, this is such an honor. And then, oh, this will be great for my career. Then I watch it fall apart in front of me. I'm watching potential dreams crumbling in front of me as people are picking apart my qualifications. And then I'm being accused of holding someone hostage. And then I'm being accused of being the person themselves. They even said, what if he has multiple identities? Who is Aaron Califato? Who is this guy? By the way, Wikipedia, let me just put this out there. You guys are such great researchers. All you'd have to do is go to my website and give me a call. Give me an email. I'm out there everywhere. These researchers. Get the researchers of Wikipedia. I don't know who this guy is. Use Google. You're supposed to be researching. Look up Google. What is wrong with these people?
Here's the reality.
I almost flipped the table.
I've heard that Wikipedia is not all that great anyway. There's a lot of conspiracies around it. I'm trying to make look.
Hey, here's the reality. My dreams were crushed.
I'm sorry that happened to you. I hope that you don't get red flagged.
I don't think I will. If anyone's gonna get red flagged, it's the guy who made the page. I'm gonna be honest with you. If they ask me questions about it, I'm gonna throw him under the bus. Listen, he's just a fan. He's just a fan. I don't know who this guy. He likes my. Hey, if I lose a listener, I lose a listener. It was a nice gesture. It all went to hell, Anthony. You're right. It is a total, and that's why I tell stories. It's a total Aaron Califano story. How does this even happen? But let's end here. I'm not the only one that has stories like this. In fact, that's why we started this show. If you want to take the folks out here and maybe give them a call to action and all that stuff, the reason why we started doing this was you and I would talk all the time and tell each other these kinds of stories. We couldn't believe they were real, and sometimes not. Right? Like, that's why we're doing this. We figured make a game show out of it. It's pretty fun.
Let's make a game show out of it. Absolutely. And before the call to action, I will say this. Is it possible, Aaron, that you record a 7-minute story of this and tell him so he listens to it?
It's in the agenda, for sure.
That's what I want to hear.
That's in the agenda. Yeah, it might be the premiere of season 6. I haven't decided yet. I might
when a fan goes rogue. He sees the title, he'll know it's him. Sometimes you know what, like it's not like you're hating on the guy.
No,
you're you're telling the story. You are staying in the course. You are a storyteller. Sometimes it may not benefit everybody. You have to tell the story.
Anthony,
it needs to be told, Aaron.
And what has to be told, honestly, it's not his fault. The thing is, and here's where he did get in trouble. I told you in the story, in that screenshot, that one of the commenters said, in that screenshot, he wrote, "I'm doing this on behalf." Now, think of it this way. If you're not from this country, right, or English, and even if you do speak English, it can be a confusing thing when someone says this, right? So they go, "Hey, I have 2 reservations. What are you bringing that cake in?" "Oh, I'm doing this on behalf of Anthony." Like, right? So in his mind, he's saying behalf, I'm assuming, like, for this person. What it looks like is that I have him in an illegal stranglehold and I'm making him type a Wikipedia page against his will.
Amazing. We will end there.
We'll end there.
Keep us posted. So we'll see you next week at 8:15. We will be back here. I will be on deck for a story. The series is tied 4-4.
Anthony's up next. Yep.
I am up. And yes, tell your friends. If you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, folks in Riverside, folks on YouTube, even if you think like one person, family member, friend, coworker would like this show, send them a link to our page. Yep. Have them subscribe. Just come 1 week. See what you guys think. See what they think. We would really appreciate the support. We do appreciate the support. And we're going to keep doing this week to week. We're going to keep building and see where this thing can go. And we can't do it without all of you tuning in week to week as we do it. So have a great night, and we will see you next week at 8:15.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Don't Wikipedia yourselves. Take care.